So we'll roll out the calves a little and then we'll be still and quiet. I love this one with the block, and you can go low with the block or medium, and at home if you have the roll, that works great too. You could also, if the block feels too hard, you could do a rolled up blanket. So let's put the right leg up upon it, and the end of the block is pretty close to the heel, not all the way there. It's just kind of the upper part of the Achilles. And then the other one crosses over, and you can just lean back a little on your hands and just take a lazy side to side. Yeah, and it's meant to feel good. It might feel a little bit intense in there, but if it's agonizing pain, your eyes are bugging out, that's too much. Yeah. Now this works better for those of you on a round device. It kind of works on the square one too. If you want to change it so you're making almost like a circle or kind of an oval shape as you're going along. Yeah. And then we'll pause and just move the right ankle around a little bit, any which way. Crunch, crunch, go to the ankles. Yeah. All right. And then let's pause and reset. So you move your body down a little and the device is just a little higher up the leg. And then we'll go again, side to side. Oh. Yeah, and our neighbors next door, they make a lot of noise this time of day. Coffee shop.
Serious coffee.
Yeah, it seems pretty busy though. The parking lot was full.
I know, I pulled in, I was like,
yeah.
Okay, everybody's out.
And then turn it into that circle if you can. If not, just continue to side. Yeah, if I drink coffee, I'd go check it out, but
they don't have teas, right?
I think they probably do. All right, and then we'll pause here and move the ankle around. And I think they have food too, like snacky kind of food.
I saw something. They had a chalkboard out.
Yeah. But I'll get too hungry if I think about that. So, all right, let's pause here, and then one more spot. Now we don't want to be right behind the knee, so it's a little lower than that. And if you run out of places, just find any spot. And, oh yeah. So Robin, you told me you haven't been running, but you've been doing something else.
Yeah, I've been doing indoor rowing.
Indoor rowing. That probably doesn't tighten the calves too much, does it?
60% is about legs.
Legs.
It's not as much impact as rowing.
Yeah. All right, and then circles. Oh. All right, and then we'll pause and move the foot around. Last section here. Yeah, I've been taking this ballet class, and it's very intense on the calves, I've got to say. I had forgotten about that.
That's so fun.
There's like just the warm-up, the first exercise, we do 16 calf raises on each leg, and that's like the hardest part. All right, release that, and let's do second side. So we'll go down close to the foot, and cross over, side to side we go. This side feels like nothing compared to the right one. Actually, I lied, I just found a different spot. And then sort of circularize it.
Did you also do belly dancing?
Belly dancing too. I haven't done much of that lately at all, but actually with that one too, you're up on the balls of the feet quite a bit. So maybe I'm just out of practice. All right, and then we'll move the ankle around a little bit. The ballet class is fun though. It's mostly kids. There's like 2 adults that take
I bet that's fun.
It's great because it makes me feel really good. Like, well, and when the teacher corrects the kids, it's for silly things like, you can't use your phone. And I'm like, oh, I didn't use my phone. All right, and then go to a little bit new spot on the leg, side to side.
If you wanted a lot of entertainment, you should get some adult men in there.
Adult men, I tried to get my husband
Yeah, that's
actually,
not
because he's been doing, well, I told him, I'm like, maybe you could do the first 15 minutes because he needs to strengthen his feet. And the beginning of the class is all about that. I don't think he'll do it though.
But you can do some of those things at home.
Actually, he is.
Yeah.
He is. Robin, do you want to come to my ballet class?
For comic relief?
It's a free class. Yeah. It's Tuesday night. All right, let's
It's
move the
online
circles.
or in person?
It's online. Yeah, it's just at home. And the teachers, there's different teachers, they rotate. I have my favorite, but I don't want to influence you guys. So, they're all good. They're just different. Yeah. All right, and then last spot. Even if you're not feeling a whole lot of sensation here, this sort of thing is very beneficial for different ways. Yeah. We'll stretch the calves later the traditional way, but this way gets into them just differently. Yeah, circles if that works for you. And then we'll mobilize the ankle. Interesting, all those little spots in there, huh? All right. And then we'll release that. The crop away. You might have to move the hands a little bit after that on the hands. Now we'll sit for a bit. You can sit cross-legged if that's more comfortable. I'm going to sit in Virasana on a block like this. You could do that with 2 blocks if you wanted to, or 1, or the lower height. Yeah, let's make it a little perch here. And then for anybody who does choose this position, come up for a second. See if you can bring the thighs a little closer together so the thighs are closer than the feet. And you'll take the hands and pull the calf flesh out and back away from the knees. And then kind of sit again. Yeah. Sarah, grab the second block. Go higher. Yeah.
This is very difficult.
You don't want to
Could
hurt
you
yourself in order to
Could
get
you
it.
repeat that,
You want me to repeat the instruction?
Caroline?
So once you've decided on your height, you'll come a little forward, bring the thighs closer together so the thighs are closer than the feet, and then the hands pull back and apart just to give a little extra room behind the knees. Yeah. Then we'll do one more thing. Take the knee skin and pull it a little forward so the shins have a little extra room. All right. And then if you're cross-legged, you're all set. You don't have to do any of that. Let's everybody, though, take the hands right on the top of the pelvis and give yourself a little tilt, just a little forward and back tilt, kind of cat-cow-ish. And then we'll land right in the center. Use your hands to press down and lengthen long through the side waist on both sides. Yeah. Keep the length. Let the hands rest. Let the eyes close. And see if you can find a lifting sensation right at the base of your skull, back of the head. Relax your jaw, your tongue. Just take a few conscious breaths. Next time the exhale comes, let the head bow down, let the back round. Come on in, are you Jamie?
Yeah,
Awesome.
sorry.
And then we'll interlace the fingers. Sit up tall, take the arms right up overhead. Just nice big stretch here. Go a little bit to your right. And then up and a little bit to your left. And then up. We'll undo the hands, circle out the wrists. And then we'll undo our seat and just stretch out the legs a little bit. So stretch out the legs in front of you and just move a little bit through the feet, the ankles, the toes, whatever feels good to do. Yeah. All right, and then let's turn over, coming to all fours position here. Do feel free to have padding under the knees if you need that. We'll reach the right leg back with the toes tucked under, and then just do a little forward back motion here. So now we're getting into the calves the more traditional way, typically do. And then let's pause here, turn the heel to the floor, turn the chest to the right, and lift the right arm. Keep the right foot on the floor and take the right arm forward and overhead so you arc into a little bit of a side bend. And turn your face to look down. Yeah. Good. And then we'll release the hand, release the knee. Press back briefly to child's pose and go onto the tips of your fingers for a second. Now, spider fingers. Give them that little scrunch action here. Yeah. Jamie, take your time to set up. You'll want a blanket and 2 blocks. All right, let's reset. So hands come back down to our all fours. Left leg will reach back, toes tuck under, and just give yourself that motion. Back and forth a few times. And then we'll pause here. Turn the heel to the floor, turn the chest open, and lift up through the left arm. Keep the left heel rooted as you take the arm overhead, coming into a little bit of a side bend. But try not to collapse into it. Yeah, stay long. Nice. And then down comes the hand, down comes the knee. Go to child's pose again, and let's take our fingertip position here and give the mat a little scrunch up with the hands. Yeah, it might feel good to add in a little bit of a wobble here from side to side. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's set the hands down. Round up through cat pose and continue forward until the spine extends. You'll bend the elbows and lower down onto the belly. Now, once you get down there, scooch the legs back and down just to give you a little extra room. And we'll rest the head on your hands. Just keep the hands stacked. Draw back through the tips of the toes. And as you lift the legs, think of lifting from the inner thigh. Yeah, so you're not going to lift too high. And then lower them back down. And do that again. Lift up from the inner thigh. And back down one more time. Lift up from the inner thigh and stay there. Press lightly into your forearms and let the torso come up, but not too high. All right, down we come. Let's bend up the right knee, and if you can reach the foot, hold on to the foot or the ankle there. Yeah, stay in your position and see if you can press the center of the thigh bone down towards the floor, and at the same time lift the low belly away from the floor. Good. Quad stretch. Maybe you flex the foot. Sometimes that makes it more interesting. All right, and then down comes the leg to the other side. Bend the left knee. Send the knee back. Press down through the center of the thigh and lift up a little through the low belly. Maybe you flex the foot if you want to try that. Great. And then let's release that. Stay on the belly. Just create another little wiggle, just a little wobble side to side. In a moment, we'll press back to child's pose and we'll have the toes tucked under there. Arms are forward. Look at your hands and make sure they're at least shoulders width apart and that there's some space in between your fingers. We'll lift the knees up off the floor. Press the mat down and forward with your hands. Now let's keep the knees bent and at the very, very tops of the thighs, press wider, press apart. And then in your lower legs, hug the outer shins in just enough so the weight goes more to the ball of the big toe. Yeah, slowly let's go straighter in the legs. Think of lifting the hips up as you release the heels down, particularly the inner heels. Yeah, downward facing dog pose. Let's stay here, and if you want to add on a little bit, you can bend and straighten the knees. You can shift the hips a little from side to side. Maybe turn your head from side to side. Good. All right, guys, let's separate your feet about as wide as the mat. Bend your knees and walk the arms back. And just prop up for a sec with the forearms on the thighs. Yeah, you can move the wrists around if that feels good. Wiggle the fingers, anything like that. Press down into your feet, and let's use the inhale to grow tall, lifting up the arms, and then set the arms down. Nice job. Bring the feet right underneath your hip sockets, and take a few circles. Just circle it out. Hula hoop asana. Yeah. Great, and then go the other direction with that. Awesome. Let the movement settle down here. Yeah. And then, Jamie, do you want to turn your mat this direction? I think that'll be easier for you.
It's helping to see better.
Yeah, you're good. And then let's stand at the very back of the mat, just briefly here. Root down through the feet, lift up through the arms. It's called Urdhva Hastasana. Take a breath in. And as the exhale comes, bend the knees forward, fold, Uttanasana. Hands to the shins, take a halfway lift, move the chest forward, and lower yourself down. Let's walk the hands forward until we get into plank pose. Yeah, now we'll be here for a bit. If you need to put the knees down or go onto the elbows, that's fine. Can you broaden the collarbones? And then counter that by lifting up through the lowest part of the belly. Yeah, Sarah, move your shoulders a tiny bit forward. Yes, you can even walk the hands a little forward, I think. Yeah, and then move the shoulders forward again. That's it. Nice job. Everybody, let's bend the knees, pull them slightly forward, and in slow motion, let the knees come down to the floor. And then in slow motion, bend the elbows, we land down on the belly. We'll give the hands a little break here once you're down. Stretch the arms back alongside you, back to the hands to the floor. Curl the fingers in, making a loose fist. And then bend at the wrist so the back of the hand comes up off the floor. We'll just hold this for a second. Yeah. And then on an inhale, spread the fingers wide. Lift the front of the chest away from the floor and lift the legs. Good. We'll stay here for a breath or 2 or 3. And then we'll bend the elbows, hands go right under the shoulders. Let's press back again. Go through child's pose, toes tuck under. Same entry as before into down dog. So we'll lift the knees, keep them bent at first, and press the mat forward so your hips go back and up. At the very, very tops of the thighs, press apart. And then at the tops, the sides of the shins, hug in. Slowly re-lengthen the legs. Yes, yogis. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog pose. And then to get out of this, either walk the hands back or the feet forward or a little bit of each. Forward fold, little bend in the knees. Inhale, you rise, growing up nice and tall, arms lift overhead. And then the arms come down alongside you. Nice job. Circle out the wrist a few times, move the fingers. Yeah, so we're going to make a roll. I'll suggest just a blanket to roll up. If you don't have that at home, you could use your own mat. And then we'll roll it up approximately this size. And then we'll set this roll at the front of the mat. And let's have the blocks in front of it, if you have blocks. And if you don't, you could set up either in front of a wall or use a chair or something. The blocks are going to be for your hands in a moment. So let's actually have the blocks a little towards the right side. Right foot stays off the roll, it's just on the floor. Left foot goes on the roll with the toes up and the heel down on the floor. Yeah, so we're a little to the side, exactly. Now, if you are able to, you can step the right foot further forward for more stretch in the left calf. But don't go so far forward that you're falling all over the place. Yeah. Now, in this position, there's a tendency for the left hip to kind of swing out to the side. Can you hug the outer left hip in? And then at the very, very tops of the thighs, just think of that softening back a little bit. Oh, Ram, you can set the blocks down. Now we'll pick them up in a second. And then lift up through the lowest part of the belly. Yeah. Let's take the arms out and up. Nice job. Stay lifted. Don't let the arms drop, but relax a little through the inner shoulders, the sides of the neck. Yeah. We'll maintain this position in the rest of the body, but release the arms down. And then just kind of like you're going for a walk, let the arms swing one side, other side. Yeah. All right, and then we'll let the arms swing, settle down. If you have the right foot pretty far forward, let's take it in a little bit, take it back slightly. Now, if they're already next to each other, you'll stay put. Very awkward. Bend both knees just a tiny bit, which is tricky. And then at the hip crease, we'll hinge over, landing your hands on something. Let's go at least the high height of blocks. If you need to go even higher, you can stack them, but don't go lower quite yet. Now at the very, very tops of the thighs, gently roll back and press apart, little bit. Counter that action in your feet. Root down through the ball of the big toe, the inner part of the foot, yes. And then see if you can slowly start to lift the hips up. The legs will go straighter, the torso might bow down. And then if it's appropriate, you can go lower in your blocks. And if that's not a great idea, you'll just stay right where you are. Now we are gonna stay here for a little bit. To add on, take a very tiny shift to the right and to the left, side to side a few times. That's it. And then when it feels like you're right in the middle, pause there. One more time, let the inner groins soften back and apart. Root down through the ball of the big toe. And now if you're lower on the blocks, let's go one notch higher than you currently are. If you're already high, you can go onto the fingertips. Can you draw back through the pubic bone and lift the tailbone a little? And at the same time, move the chest forward and extend a little through the front of your spine. Oh man, yeah. Everybody's breathing, right? Yeah, are we feeling this in the left calf? Okay, good. Now, gently back off a little of your stretch. Shift a bit to the right and step the left foot off the roll. And come back up to stand. Oh, yeah. Good. So we'll do second side in a moment. Let's just take a little walk, though, and see if you notice a difference in your gait and in the way the legs feel. Yeah. All right. Getting ready for side two. So let's just have the blocks forward. We won't get to them quite yet. Right foot is up on the roll, heel is down. Left foot can step forward, but it doesn't have to. Yeah, and we'll stay upright for the moment. And once you're in position here, yeah, notice if the right hip is swinging to the side, can you hug the outer hip in? And then at the very, very tops of the legs, soften, roll back, lift up through the belly, up through the side body, up through the arms for a moment. Yes, keep the arms up, but relax a little through the shoulders, nice space for the neck. And then we'll release the arms down, keep everything else the same. And just go for an imaginary walk here, letting the arms swing. Yeah, and there'll be a little bit of movement in the pelvis and the torso. That's fine. You know, it's not a robot walk. It's a human walk. Good. All right, and then pause here. If your left foot went forward, scooch it in a little bit, just a little bit, because this next part's more intense. Very slight bend in the knees, which is awkward. Yeah, it's just a little bit. At the hip crease, we hinge forward to come down, landing your hands. Start high or higher, but don't go low quite yet. At the very, very tops of the thighs, press apart and roll the inner thighs back slightly. Yeah. Root down through the ball of the big toe. And then slowly start to lift the hips up as the legs go straighter. And if it's appropriate, you can lower the blocks, maybe. Maybe some of you don't need the blocks. Wherever you are, be honest with yourself and make the right choice. We are going to be here for a little bit. Yeah, let the pelvis take a little shift side to side a few times. And then when it feels like you're right in the middle, pause there. And if you did, let's go one notch higher than you are on your blocks. And if you're already on the highest height, you go onto the fingertips. From here, see if you can move the pubic bone back and let the tailbone begin to lift. And at the same time, extend the front of the spine, the chest moves forward, and we create a little more length in the torso. Yeah. You need to go a little higher on this side. Now you might notice you have one side very different than the other. That's pretty common for most humans, I think. Yeah, so to get out of this, just back off a little from the stretch and then step the foot off of the roll, come back up to stand. And then let's take another little walk just to feel. Oh, so much better, everybody. For me, at least. Yeah. Okay, good. All right, so let's head back to your spot, and we'll use the roll now at the back of the mat. Now, if you're at home and you're not, you used your own mat as your roll, undo that, and so you can stand on your mat, and you'll just have your heel on the floor for this part. Let's set up the blocks at the front. We won't use them quite yet, but pretty soon we will. Yeah. And then we'll come back here, step the right heel on the roll, so the toes are on the floor. And then ever so slightly turn the leg out, so from the top of the thigh, turn out to about 1 o'clock or so. Yeah, hands to the hips, a little awkward. We'll step the left leg forward. Just take a few steps to do it. That's it. Yeah, and then we'll stretch both legs to straight. On the back leg, press down through the heel. Press the heel firmly into the roll. And then at the same time, see if you can draw the right inner groin back. Yeah. Now when you draw the inner groin back, you'll lose some of the heel. So find it again, repress the heel. Good. Hands on the pelvis, push down with the hands and think about lengthening up. Lifting the rib cage away from the pelvis. Keep the lift, keep the back heel pressing, and slowly start to bend the front knee. Yeah. Anybody getting that stretch now on the right side? The front of the right thigh? Yeah. If you're not, press the heel more and lift up more through the belly. Let's take just the right arm up for a second and see if you can make as much space as possible between the right fingertips and the right heel. Yeah. Jamie, change arms. You're good. And if you can bend the front knee a little more, too. Good. All right, let's take the other arm up to join. If anybody's getting a little pinch in the low back, hinge forward a tiny bit. But then everybody think of making the rib cage and the pelvis move away from each other. Yeah, we're going to add on to this with some dynamic movement. Inhale to re-straighten the front leg. And then let's exhale, bend the elbows and bend the front knee. Cactus arms. Do that a few times. So the inhale is up. And the exhale is down. The inhale is up. And the exhale is down. Stay down. Hinge the torso forward. That'll back off of the stretch a little. Take the arms back, and then we'll step forward to get out of this. Yeah. All right, same thing, second side. Come on back. Left heel goes on the roll, and from the very top of the leg, turn out slightly, about 11 o'clock. Hands to the hips, we step it forward. I know, I don't think there's a less awkward way to do this, so just do the best you can. And then once you're there, we'll straighten both legs. On the back leg, press down through the heel, and almost try to push the roll back. Send the inner groin back, right at the very, very top of the thigh, and again, press down through the heel. Hands to the hips, push down with the hands, and think about the ribs lifting up off the pelvis as we start to bend the front knee. Yeah. Now, if anybody needs to hinge a little forward, do. But if you don't need that, stay upright. Keep the belly lifted. Stretch up up through the left arm. Fingertips and the heel move away from each other. And then let's add on, up through the right arm. Think of lifting the side ribs and the back ribs as much as you're lifting the front ribs. Yes. Back heel stays rooted the whole time. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, rebend and cactus the arms, bending the elbows. Do this a few times. Nice. We're going to stay in the bench position. Hinge the torso a little forward, take the arms back, and then we'll step forward to get out, and up we come, mountain pose. Yeah, nice work. Yeah, if you need to wiggle a little, take a second. Let's get rid of the blanket roll. Let's put it to the side. Oh, I don't know about you guys. My legs feel really good after all of this. So let's come to the front of the mat. We'll do the same pose again, but enter into it a little differently. So hands are on the hips. Right leg this time steps back, heel to the floor. That's it. Press down through the heel like you had the roll there. Send the inner groin back, lift up through the belly, and lift up through both arms here. Now this time as we bend the front knee, we're going to go down, but think of lifting up as much as you're going down. Yeah, Virabhadrasana 1 pose. Nice work, yogis. Now, Sarah, I think you could either scooch the left foot a little forward or the right foot a little back, whichever is easiest. That's it. And then everybody press down firmly again into the back heel. Gorgeous. Yeah, you too, Jamie. I think you can make a little longer position. Nice. All right. So from here, let's hinge the torso forward. Take the arms back into this diagonal line position. You got it. Arms come down. Now, most of us will be on the blocks, any height. That's it. And then let's do this. We'll do a few things all at the same time. You know, before we do that, just bend and straighten the front knee a couple of times. Nice and slow. Now let's pause when the front knee is bent a little, not a deep bend, just a little. And then think of drawing back through the left hip as you push the left heel forward, and at the same time move the chest forward. So we lengthen the spine and the leg at the same time. And this one I'm expecting you'll probably get it more in the hamstring on the left side. Yeah. Stay here without moving your hands. Try to pull the blocks back towards the back of your mat. And that'll help you grow the front of the spine a little longer. Yeah. Sarah, can you go a little straighter in the front leg? Straight. Yeah, it doesn't have to go all the way. So again, the front heel is pushing down and forward. The front hip is drawing back and up. And we're trying to pull the blocks back as we move the chest forward. Yeah. All right. And then to get out of it, let's bend the front knee. Step the back foot forward. Inhale, your eyes. Exhale, release the arms. All right, same thing side two. So let's, hands to hips, reach the left leg back with the heel down. And be generous with your stance. Give yourself plenty of room here. Press the back heel down and back. Send the inner groin back and lift up through the belly. Let's keep that. Send the arms up. And as we bend the front knee and go down, think of going up to go down. Yeah, we lift and we lengthen. Exactly. Nice. You guys look like $1 million. All right. So, to hinge into the next part, let's come forward with the chest, back with the arms. Just pause here in this halfway phase. Yep. Arms come down slowly. Take a few rounds to bend and straighten the front leg, just to kind of stretch it out, explore a little, see where you are. Yeah. And then let's pause with the front knee, a tiny bit bent, but not a deep bend. In a second here, we'll press the heel forward and draw the right hip back as the leg goes straighter. And without moving your hands, try to pull the hands towards the back of the mat as you move the chest forward, lengthening the front of the spine. Oh yeah. This is my tighter side for sure. One more time, and you don't have to do extras, just a reminder. The front heel pushes forward. The front hip reaches back. The arms try to pull back as the chest comes forward. Yes. All right, yogis, let's rebend the front knee. Step the back foot forward. Root down through both feet. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, the arms come down alongside you. Nice job. So let's just move a little bit. We'll be at the front of the mat. You're probably already there. Root down through the feet. Inhale, we grow tall, lift and lengthen. Exhale, down we come forward fold. Maybe bend the knees here. Take a halfway lift. And then lower yourself down. We'll meet in a plank pose. Again, you can take a different version that I am doing if you need to. Knees down, elbows down, or whatever. Broaden the collarbones. Lift up through the belly. And then just a little bit, press back through the heels. And at the same time you're doing that, move the chest forward. So you've got a back and a forward at the same time. Nice job. Let's put the knees down. Come all the way down onto the belly. We'll take a little break here. Fold the hands, rest the forehead down. Bend up the knees and let the legs take a little swish action from side to side. Yeah. And then it might feel good here to turn that into a circle. And other direction, circle. Great. All right, everybody. Let's let the legs back down. And we'll press back into a brief child's pose. Hips back towards the heels. And then from your child's pose, we'll head into downward facing dog. Take your time to get there. And then we'll find forward fold, any way you want to do it. Root down to rise up. Inhale, we grow tall. And exhale, the arms release. Yay. All right. So let me, I'll talk about our balance today. Will be a warrior 3 pose, and I'm going to have us use the hands on the standing thigh, which does a few things. It gives you a little extra support and something to press into, and it also has the benefit of pressing the thigh bone deeper into the ball, into the socket. Instead of having it pulled forward, it goes back, so that's where we want it to be. So I'll just talk you through it as we go. Let's have the feet just about hips width distance apart, slight little bend in the knees, and hinge forward. We'll take both hands here on the top of the right thigh and just press a little bit, hands into the thigh. Now, on the left leg, you'll go up onto the tippy toe there, and then start to stretch the left leg back as the chest comes forward. That's it. And let's keep a tiny, barely bend in the right knee the whole time. Good. So the hands continue to press back on the right thigh. At the same time, can you move the chest forward so you're not in a rounded position? Yeah, if you're wobbling a little, that's okay. It's part of the game. Good. Robin, what's going on over there?
Really stiff.
Okay. And then up we come to center. Great. Side 2, we'll do the same thing, and then we'll tweak it a little bit. So let's come down, hands to the top of the left thigh. The knee's a little bit bent. Right leg comes back. We'll start on the tippy toe. And then let the leg start to lift as the torso hinges forward. And we'll keep a small little bend the whole time on the left side. Yeah, not important how low you go in the chest or how high you go on the leg. As the hands are pressing the thigh back, can you move the chest forward? Good. All right, up we come to stand. Nice job. I think some of you are holding your breath, though, the whole time. Yeah, so we'll breathe on the next round. Breathing is good. So let's do it. Side 1, again, pretty much the same thing. So let's start here with the left leg already a little back. Hinge over, hands to the top of the right thigh. And then as you lift the leg, move the chest forward, let the torso lower perhaps. And let's stay here for 3 breaths. Yes. When you're done, we just return to center. Yeah. Nice job.
Can't get it off the floor.
That's okay. That's okay. So you're still on the floor. No big deal. All right, let's go last side here. So hands at the top of the left thigh. Is that the second side? Yeah. Right leg is back. And then into the pose we come. Yeah. Jimmy, you might actually try taking the hands a wee bit lower on the leg. That might help. Yeah. Good. 3 breaths. And when we're done, we're done. Okay. Whatever happened, it's history. It's history. Let's take a hula hoop asana. Good job. Go the other direction. All right, I'm just going to check in with my friends at home to see if you actually have the blanket roll or if you were using something else. Give me a thumbs up if you have the roll. Good. Okay. So we're going to use that next.
I have a roll.
You don't have a roll? You can roll up your mat again for this part if you don't have the blanket roll. So we'll take the roll now on the right side of your mat, or just kind of on the right side if you're using your mat. And you might recall in the beginning we did that little calf thing. This is similar, but now it's for the quad. So you'll lay down, belly down, and have the roll just above the right knee on the thigh, and the left leg is on the floor. The left leg's not on the roll. So the right foot's probably going to hover a little bit. Yeah, you can just rest your forehead out on the hands. Bend up the right knee here, and just in a really lazy way, let the leg take a side to side, kind of like a windshield wiper on the one leg. And you might rock a little on the other side too, that's fine. Yeah. And then we'll change our side to side into a circle. So the foot can just kind of draw a circle. And then go the other way. And if you're anything like me, you might find some little kind of lumpy spots in there. Yeah.
Some, I think
Yeah, that's the whole
lot.
thing. It's a big lump. Yeah, and then let's pause, and we'll either pull the roll a little forward or scoot your body a little back. So it's about, the roll's about at mid-thigh, approximately. And then let's bend the knee and take our, the side to side lumps aplenty. So there are 4 quad muscles, one on the inside, one on the outside, and then in the middle there's one on top of the other, so there's kind of 2 in the middle. And if you're feeling a little thunk, that's probably the place where the 2 muscles come together. Let's change it into a circle. Yeah, go the other way. All right. Now, for this last spot on the leg, we don't want to be right at the hip crease. It's a little lower than that, kind of just where the fleshy bit of the leg begins. And then for this one, just take anything at all. And for me, it actually feels good to roll a little more to the right, so I'm a little more on the outside. And you might be getting into a muscle called TFL, tensor fasciae lata. Sounds like a coffee drink. It's kind of on the outside there. Yeah, anything is fine. You could bend and straighten the knee, circles, whatever you want to do. Yeah. Now, my friends at home who have a foam roller, this is, I think, a little too intense on the foam roller, which is why I do it on the blanket roll. Good. All right, so finish up whatever you need to do here. And then we'll pull the roll out and just lay for a second on your belly. And feel how the right side is different now than the left side. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but for me, it feels like the left side is almost like a balloon, and then the right side is a deflated balloon. Yeah. All right. And then let's press back, take a brief child's pose just in between. Stretch out the other direction. Yeah. And then we'll do the whole pattern on side 2. So I'm gonna turn around, but you just be where you are and have the blanket at first right at the above the knee on the left thigh. Right thigh is all the way down on the floor. Forehead is resting. And see if you can be as relaxed as you can in the upper body at least. Yeah. And then we'll bend the knee, left knee, and side to side we go. Back and forth. That's it. And we'll make it into some circles. Are you guys finding some good lumps in there? Yeah. Pace can be anything at all. I vary it. Sometimes I go kind of quickly, and sometimes I go really, really slow. So it's up to you. Let's go the other way with the circle. Yeah. Now, when you're ready, we'll adjust and go to about mid-thigh. That's it. And then bend the knee, side to side we go. Yeah. And then circles. So this sort of stuff we've been doing today with the blocks and the blanket roll, for me it's kind of like a full body brush and floss of the teeth. Go the other direction, just kind of maintenance. That I wouldn't say to do it every day, but every now and then good to do these things. Yeah. Okay, friends, we're heading into our last spot. It'll be up higher, and I'm not going to specify the movement, but just what I find interesting is to roll a little more towards the left. And yeah, you might do whatever you want with the leg. Yeah. And we don't want anything, again, to be painful or, like if you think you're going to cry or if you need a piece of wood in between your teeth to do it, that's probably you're doing too hard. Yeah. Okay. And then let's be done. Just come down to your belly, pull the thing out. Oh, and take a moment. Just notice. And you might even notice a difference in the breath. Sometimes when we're bound up in the muscles, the breath is a little bound up as well. Yeah. All right, friends, let's press back. Take a brief child's pose again. Or if you wanted to do down dog, that's an option too. Any extra movement, wiggles, wobbles, take what you need. Yeah. All right, and then let's come onto your back. We'll meet laying down, knees bent, feet on the floor. And then let's cross the right ankle over the left thigh, this figure 4 position. You might keep the left foot on the floor if your hips are really tight, or you could pick up the left leg and hold, either behind the thigh, in front of the shin. You could even use a strap here if you needed to. And then maybe, just be gentle, a little rock side to side could feel good. Or you could even make like a little circular pattern here. Check in with your breath and make sure you can breathe easily and calmly. And again, if you can't do that, then you need to back off a little bit. Yeah. So let's maintain whatever position you're in, but let go of any movement that you're taking. Let yourself find stillness. And just the smallest amount, can you rock the pelvis so the tailbone moves towards the floor and the lumbar spine lifts a little off the floor. Keep that, and without changing it, try to use the arms to pull the leg in a little more. It's subtle, it's very little. And then shift both legs tiny bit to the left. Yeah. All right. And then from here, let's back off, undo. Take the feet on the floor, hands on the thighs, and just press the hands straight ahead into the legs for a sec. Little reset. And then we'll undo and redo. Left one crosses over, and then we pick up the right and hold on wherever you're holding. Yeah, yogi's choice for a sec. Oh, movement, stillness. You choose what kind of movement. Yeah, and then if you are moving, let it settle down. See if you can untuck the pelvis, moving the tailbone more towards the floor. It's not going to go to the floor. And then let the low back, the lumbar, lift a little away. Try to keep that position in the pelvis and the spine and use the arms to draw the legs in again. You won't go much. And then shift tiny bit to the right, like an inch. Yes. Breathe. Nice work. Let's undo. Release both feet down on the floor. Hands again, press straight into the thighs. Yeah. And then from here, yogis, let's release the hands. Take the feet about as wide as the mat. And just let your legs start to do windshield wipers, side to side. Maybe the arms reach overhead if that feels good. Maybe the head rolls opposite of the legs if that feels good. And here you can be quick or slow. You could even linger on one side if that feels good. Uh-huh. All right, friends. When you're ready to be done, let's reset, coming back to center. If there is any last thing that you need before Shavasana or final resting pose, take whatever that is. Maybe it's just a big stretch. Maybe it's an actual pose. Yeah, whatever you need. And then I'm going to turn off all of these lights. It needs to be so bright. Yeah. And as we lie here, let's take a little check-in. See how it feels now at the end of the practice. Your body, your mind, and in your breath. For the next few breath cycles, every time you exhale, can you relax a little bit more? And bring your attention back to your own body. And start to create some gentle movement. That could be anything you like, maybe a little roll of your head, wiggle of the fingers, maybe a little big stretch with the arms. Whenever you're ready, allow the knees to bend. And roll yourself over. We'll meet on one side. And from there, we'll come back up to sit. No rush to get there. You can sit any way you like. We'll bring hands right to heart center. And thank your body for everything that it's able to do. And thank yourself for being here. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.